Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. In the book called Tanya, written by the Alter Rebbe, we learn a lesson that can change our lives forever. We have to understand that within us we have two souls. God has put within us two spirits, two souls, the godly soul and the animal soul. The animal soul is the part of us, the physical, the animalistic part of us, the part of us that keeps us alive. And the godly soul is the part of us that's a part of God above. Now, there is something called the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, which is also sometimes in English called Satan, the Satan. What's important is that in Judaism we learn that Hashem is the only one running the show. Hashem is running the world. There's no one else besides Hashem. And the Satan is not a separate entity. Satan is not a separate entity with any power of his own. If someone believes that Satan has power of his own, that he is separate, that he can do something outside of God, then that's considered idolatry. But rather we know that Satan, is a servant of God. And what is the mission he's been given? His mission is to challenge us. Why does he challenge us? To give us the opportunity to serve Hashem with intensity and to actually fight for Hashem, to give something back to Hashem. So sometimes when we find ourselves in a hard place, when we find ourselves going through difficulties when trying to serve Hashem, we have to remember that there's something called the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and that evil does exist in this world. And it's not our faults. It's not our faults that we have these difficulties, these spiritual challenges, but it is our fault if we give in to them. It's our fault if we don't turn away from them. What does this mean? The Alter Rebbe gives us a technique. Sometimes we could find ourselves, our hearts could be Timtum Alev. It's called, our hearts could be blocked off from Hashem. We could find ourselves cold-hearted when serving Hashem, find ourselves numb, find ourselves without excitement to serve Hashem, find ourselves with very coarse and unrefined emotions. So what do? Hashem gives us advice, and this is a very deep idea, and we have to remember that the Alter Rebbe tells us in Tanya that the evil inclination, the Satan is serving Hashem. He knows that Hashem is real. He knows that there's nothing else besides Hashem. And Hashem has given him the mission to challenge us. That's his mission. So we have to remember that there's nothing else besides Hashem. And when we remember that there's actually nothing else besides Hashem, that all of reality that we experience around us is God's creation, and God didn't just create the world, but rather he recreates the world. He gives life. He illuminates the world at every single moment. Surely when we focus on this idea, it'll cause our hearts to open up. And also the Alter Rebbe tells us to say to the Yetzer Hara, in our minds, tell this evil part of us, leave me alone. Why are you causing me to rebel against Hashem? Why are you causing me to turn away from Hashem? Why are you causing me to be so lowly, to be so physical? I want to be a part of Hashem. And when we say this to ourselves, so to speak, when we say this to the evil part that's hidden within us, this animalistic part of us, we say, hey, leave me alone. I want to serve the King. Why are you jealous right now? Why are you arrogant? Why are you so on and so forth? I want to serve Hashem. When we do this, we separate ourselves, literally, from the evil that is trying to attach itself to us. And this is actually proof. Sometimes we could find, we're trying to serve Hashem, we want to get closer to Hashem, and all of a sudden these negative emotions enter us. This isn't something to scare us. This isn't a bad thing. This actually means that we're reaching a higher level, and Hashem is giving the Yetzer Hara stronger, turning up the dial on the Yetzer Hara to go harder against us, because we're stronger. It's like when you go to the gym. The stronger you become, the harder, the more weight you have to put on the rack. But there's a technique that we don't always have to reach this. We can actually overcome this evil by, first of all, reminding ourselves that Hashem is in charge, focusing in our minds, and then it will enter our hearts and our actions, because the intellect is what gives birth to the heart. If a person is very coarse, they're not going to use their intellect so much, and their emotions will be chaotic and not so refined. But the more we meditate, the more we think and understand Hashem's greatness, the more it opens up our heart, and our heart becomes refined and in tune with Hashem. That's one technique. The other technique is to literally, when we find ourselves, for example, let's say feeling somebody says something to us and it bothers us, and we find ourselves reacting in a negative way to something that bothers us, say, hey, to the Yetzer Hara, the evil part was, hey, leave me alone. I want to be in a good mood. I want to be happy to serve Hashem. I don't want to be easily offended. I don't want to be insecure. I want to be confident in myself and in my service of Hashem. And when we say this to this evil that's hidden, that's coming after us, we separate ourselves from this evil. Because what the Yetzer Hara wants to do is it wants to pretend that it's us. It wants to pretend that, yeah, we're angry that this person did this to us. We're happy to do evil, or so to speak, God forbid. But when we remind ourselves that, no, it's not me. It's this evil that Hashem is sending to challenge me. Then we separate ourselves from it, and we purify ourselves, and we make ourselves compatible to the light. Something else very interesting is that the Alter Rebbe explains is that when we fight the evil in this world, Hashem hits the evil from above. It's like, imagine we're fighting a war. Every time we hit the enemy, Hashem sends like an airstrike from above against the enemy. So we're not alone. And not only that, Hashem also weakens the evil when we hit it. When we fight the Yetzer Hara, we weaken him and he becomes smaller and lesser. But the more we give in to him, the stronger he gets. So we have to always remember that Hashem is running the show. And this is all part of his plan to bring the Mashiach, to bring the godly divine light into the world. Why? Because we know that the brightest form of light is the light that comes from darkness. Before we were born, we were in Gan Eden, we were in heaven, we were in great lofty places. But Hashem wants to send us into this world to reach even greater heights. That He's storing away a very special light, a beyond infinite light, a beyond infinite pleasure that is waiting for us in the days of Mashiach. One extra good deed that you do can be enough to bring Mashiach. Please help spread this message. Please comment, subscribe, like. If you want to support this Torah channel, you can see in the description on my channel page. And everything you do is supporting the Torah channel, is supporting Hashem's mission. Please comment, like, subscribe, share this message. Do one extra good deed. That could be what brings Mashiach. May Hashem bless you all.